think about the level of like mentality. Think about the mentality required to come here. It's almost like this weird obsessive sadist. Like it's like, let's just try to ask Austin, like let's treat Austin like he's our child or our slave. He's so beneath us that we can come and be like, hey, do this, do that, do this. Hey, you know what? Make these equations for me. Hey, pull this out and write this out for me. Hey, go do. It's like, no. Oh, listen to here are your clips. That was the point. It's out of principle. It was disrespectful. He proved my point with that. That was the biggest weird irrelevant when he played was like another like weird irrelevant nothing to do with the subject straw man.
Oh, the one that you claim that you're really good at math?
What? Okay, it was another straw man. So what I said was I have an aptitude for math. Hey Max, since you're so smart, can you define aptitude? And I want you to pay attention to how this conversation has progressed and just use a little bit of wisdom, pattern recognition, and discernment. Realize that when someone is telling the truth, they are going to stay consistent. They're going to remain consistent. Someone that is representing something untrue will have to constantly shuck and jive and update and change their position.
What did you say to what over a flat earth?
Local light sources.
Oh, I see.
Geocentric coordinates. Here they are. Here's the key to the geocentric ephemeris of the planets. So here's local light sources. And I want you to pay attention to how this conversation has progressed and just use a little bit of wisdom, pattern recognition, and discernment. Realize that when someone is telling the truth, they are going to stay consistent. They're going to remain consistent. Someone that is representing something untrue will have to constantly shuck and jive and update and change their position. When something is cemented in, never said sphere.
What did you say to what over a flat earth?
Local light sources.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So they're not spheres. They're just sources of light that you don't know what they are. Is what I'm understanding.
Well, I mean, technically, if you have a light source, it's going to have a radius of light in all directions, and so it's going to give you a sphere of light, right? But it's not like a solid sphere. You see what I'm saying? Like if something's illuminating, it's going to be a sphere in that it's going to have a radius of light. You know, same goes for the stars, right? Like if the stars were like, if I was up there shining really bright as a star, from here, I would look like a sphere. Everything, and it still has all the major problems anyway. So I have said pretty clearly, if I see a 24-hour sun, I would want to have a solar filter. I would want to see the sunspots, right? And obviously make sure that those sunspots maintain the entire time. There's no type of inversion. I would eliminate all possibilities. And if it just does what it's... And I want you to pay attention to how this conversation has progressed and just use a little bit of wisdom, pattern recognition, and discernment. Realize that when someone is telling the truth, they are going to stay consistent. They're going to remain consistent. Someone that is representing something untrue will have to constantly shuck and jive and update and change their position. When something is cemented in, and they'll say, oh, you just can't understand math. And I literally used to get accused of cheating in my algebra honors class, right? Because I wouldn't show my work and I'd be the first done, and she thought I was cheating. And I'd have to go, she'd give me a new piece of paper, a new test, and I'd just breeze through it in front of her again, and to prove I wasn't cheating. And then she'd end up accusing me of cheating again, and numerous math classes this actually happened, but it doesn't matter. I'm certainly not trying to brag. Yeah, like when I was good at algebra and I would just like breeze through algebra and do it in like 2 steps.
You should call and talk to some of my teachers. I used to get in trouble because they said I was cheating on my algebra because I didn't have to work it out.
But I had like an aptitude for math. Like if I sat down with you guys when we were in high school and Algebra 2 honors, I would have smoked you, dude.
I'm certainly not trying to brag.
I used to finish long form algebra without showing the work.
But I literally have an aptitude for math, bro.
I have an aptitude for math. I'm so tired of people saying I can't do math, dude. I scored like incredible on my math entry exams and the college preparatory classes and stuff like that. and full ride to private university and stuff.
Honestly, I just got a full ride to play football.
But I literally have an aptitude for math, bro.
And dude, it's well known that I have like an aptitude for math.
I'm certainly not trying to brag.
I got a scholarship to a private university.
Claims to have done the math, and really he just wanted to see if they knew how to do the Taylor expansion, right? Which let me bust your bubble here, buddy. Give me 5 minutes to learn it. Like it doesn't make the Earth a globe, but
Dude, I'm not trying to brag here or whatever just to make my point. I'm in the higher percentile of IQ. You would get demolished. I would wipe the floor with Neil deGrasse Tyson. Literally, I would demolish that dude.
You're getting destroyed though.
I'm not trying to brag here.
Oh, okay. My 160 IQ disagrees with you. My genius IQ. Now I know all the answers. I have a genius IQ. I'm just saying, my genius IQ goes out the window.
They'll claim I'm stupid, claim I'm dumb, when my IQ literally proves that that's not the case. I'm not trying to brag here.
Now, you said you were a math whiz, and in school you did math and you could pass the test and not have to write the answers down. So why don't you tell me, how would you integrate this? What would be the proper way to integrate this?
no, dude, Ryan, why are you not moderate? Do you see that all the mini equations he breaks down? There's it's analogous to Newton's second law of motion. He comes down here to explain. I just don't know exactly where it is. He comes down to show the exact equation using something akin to a Lorentz magnetic force. He also shows exactly. I went to a private school. I was in math honors classes, and I got a full ride to a private school, a university. But this is the point, though. Like, I didn't take a ton of math into college. I just partied, all that. I'm not claiming to be some like mathematical expert, but the point that I was making was, and I want you to pay attention to how this conversation has progressed, and just use a little bit of wisdom, pattern recognition, and discernment. Realize that when someone is telling the truth, they are going to stay consistent. They're going to remain consistent. Someone that is representing something untrue will have to constantly shuck and jive and update and change the position.